The reason why people are annoyed with immigrants, Muslims, Indians, people that come over here is they come here and they don't assimilate, bro. They don't assimilate. And they're very annoyed by that. That's like a white person going to Saudi and 100 of them, 1,000 of them go over there and they say, oh, we want to mass immigrate, want to bring Christianity here, blah, blah, blah. Would the royal family stand for that? Would any Muslim country stand for that? They wouldn't. They say, get these out of here. And rightfully so. They didn't build a country. It's not their language. They don't want to assimilate. So they tell them to get out of here. Why is it a problem when Americans feel the same way?
Thank you for giving me the platform. I basically wanted to kind of have a discussion and challenge you on your statements regarding public prayer for Muslims. It was done in New York City in Times Square, and I kind of want to push back on it. You've made the case that Muslims want to show that we are trying to conquer Western civilization. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you mean by conquering?
Publicly praying with 100 Muslims in a culturally significant location like Times Square in New York City, whether it's intended or not, is going to come off as, hey, these guys are trying to assert dominance and they're trying to conquer. Again, they might not be trying to do that, but that's how the host group are going to view it. Because I'll tell you this, if we took 100 Christians and had them try to pray in front of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, in the UAE, which is a very secularized Muslim country, they would be in jail, bro. So let's not kid ourselves here and act like we would exercise the same level of tolerance for Christians in Muslim land that they exercise for Muslims here. That's all I'm saying.
So the way I would challenge Muslim prayer or Christian prayer in a Muslim land is to say that the case of the United States, the history of the United States, is very special. The history or the situation of the world being subject to the dollar dominance of the export of debt has created refugee crises into the United States. The wars that America has waged upon the Muslim world, we all know how many Muslims have died, how many, refugees from Syria have had to come here. It's because of what, frankly, they have done, right? They have created this situation to weaken America, of course. But you cannot blame the victims, which are the Muslim community. We have lost millions of people.
Okay, bro, you're going down the victim hole here. Let's be very clear about this. I'm not saying that Muslims can't pray in public. I'm just saying that it's inappropriate to pray in culturally relevant areas that are public. There's a lot of foot traffic, etc., and block off traffic or do other things like that when it's not necessary. There's plenty of mosques all across New York City. Like, it's not needed, bro. It's not
needed.
You're
saying if it's inconveniencing people, but the thing is, I would argue
100%.
Times Square, there's people naked, like there's topless women that I've seen there. It is, you could argue it's a place of debauchery.
They shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there either. But who are we to go ahead and try to impose Islamic will on a country that isn't a Muslim country, bro? And that's the problem. This is not a Muslim country. It isn't. And what
about the black Israelites on the street?
They're too. Get them niggas out of here. Yeah, they're stupid. Get them out of here, bro. Like, again, like I said, I don't care if Muslims even pray in public. I don't care about that. I'm just saying I think it's very rude and disrespectful to take 100 Muslims and pray in an area of great cultural reference, by the way, in Times Square, film it with 100 plus, play that then loud, etc. Now, it might not be coming off as like, hey, guys, we're not trying to, assert dominance or take over, but people are going to interpret it that way. That's all I'm saying. It's not a good look.
So I was in Times Square about a month ago, and they had a Diwali celebration. They had a whole...
That too. That's even worse. Get these pagans out of here. See, I'm consistent, dude.
Of course.
I'm consistent.
But, okay. All right. If you're consistent, then what is Times Square? What do you...
Now, here's the difference. Now, if they want to go ahead and do a Christmas tree lighting, or they want to play some church bells, they could do that, because this is a Christian country, bro.
I would argue that this is a Freemason-based country, and Candace Owens would agree with that, too.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You can say that, but, bro, this is a Muslim country. It's founded by white Christian men, bro. Like, this is why people have such problems, bro, with Muslims and immigrants. Niggas don't respect where they're at, bro, and that's a problem.
The slaves were
it's so annoying.
But 1/3 of the slaves were Muslim that died.
They didn't build this country, bro. They didn't build this country. They didn't build this country. They didn't found this country. But see, here's the thing. Let me take your logic, bro, and show you how crazy it is, because I can have this conversation with you because you're not like an immigrant like everybody else, but we got to have this difficult conversation. The reason why people are annoyed with immigrants, Muslims, Indians, people that come over here is they come here and they don't assimilate, bro. They don't assimilate. And they're very annoyed by that. That's like a white person going to Saudi, right? And 100 of them, 1,000 of them go over there and they say, oh, we want to mass immigrate, want to bring Christianity here, blah, blah, blah. Would the royal family stand for that? Would any Muslim country stand for that? They wouldn't. They say, get these out of here. And rightfully so. They didn't build a country. It's not their language. They don't want to assimilate. So they tell them to get out of here. Why is it a problem when Americans feel the same way? We want them to give us a certain level of tolerance that we would never reciprocate in the Muslim world. And this is why people are tired of Muslims and angry with them. And I'm the only one that calls out this wildness. Bro, we got to respect where we're at, bro. We got to respect where we're at.
But don't you think that the fact that America has violated the sovereignty of every country on earth, it doesn't disqualify the United States from imposing its own culture, and should it not respect the victims
That's a good argument.
that it's
I see what you're
created?
saying. Yes, our foreign policy has created a lot of issues. We've displaced a lot of people. We've created problems. Fair.
Sure.
We can make that argument. And we've been trying to rectify that. We've brought in a lot of Syrian refugees. We have an asylum process. We've brought people in with temporary protected status from certain countries that have been bombarded, right? Obviously, I think we shouldn't even have these wars in the first place, but we know who runs this country, which is what's created the problems. But we won't talk about that. We've allowed a lot of these people to come in here. All I'm saying is, if you're going to come in here, right, you're going to come to the United States, you want to immigrate here, etc., observe the values, respect the values. When Americans go to Saudi Arabia, they respect the values. When Americans go to UAE, they respect the values. Why can we not get that over here, bro?
What do you define as a value in assimilation? What do you mean by assimilation in practical terms?
Learn the language. Don't try to change the culture to the culture that you have back home, right? There is an American identity and an American culture that needs to be respected and preserved, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if
What
people
is the
don't want
American
that,
culture? I mean, is it like drinking beer or going to baseball?
I'm sorry, bro, it's not Islam. Simple as that. It's not Islam. Make it nice and simple for you. It's not Islam.
No, I'm actually asking you practically. Like,
No, I know, but like, I know what you're trying to do here, so let's just make it simple because I know where your argument's coming from. It's not Islam. Done.
Okay, last argument.
Yeah.
The Chinese who built the railroads, they actually helped build this country. Would you say that their culture, if they want to do something for Chinese New Year because they've been here since the early 19th century and many died building the West, should their culture be
No.
American?
No.
Okay.
No, see, I'm consistent on this, bro. Like that's the thing, is like I'm
but
very
you're saying
consistent
white
on
people
this.
built the country. I'm saying the Chinese also built the country based on the
They
railroads.
didn't build it. They didn't build to the same degree, bro. Come on, man. Like they didn't build to the same degree. They weren't in leadership roles. They were, yeah, we have some Chinese here and there, but they didn't build to the same roles. It's like the same argument that the blacks make about cotton. Like cotton was a fraction of the U.S. economy. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing. So again, look, and there's a bunch of beautiful Muslim countries to go to if people want to be able to, have first world conveniences while simultaneously being able to be in a Muslim country and want to hit their adhan 5 times a day.
Well,
the UAE, Qatar, right? All these countries are beautiful and safe, and they're cleaner than America too. I don't know why Muslims are so hell bent on coming here and pushing the religion here and trying to change the culture here. It's not your culture. It's not your country.
Like, I'd like to deport myself too, but the problem is because of the economic structure of the world, where
Bro, you can go to the UAE. You're an American citizen, right?
yes,
You can go to the UAE. You go to the Qatar. These are beautiful countries that you'll be fine. You can go to Saudi Arabia.
I'm an engineer, but the average American Muslim, they can't go. What jobs will they do there? That's
Okay, okay, fine. So it's either assimilate to the new country you're in that has the jobs for you, that's giving you that privilege, or go back to your shithole. It's that simple.
Assimilate how? Assimilate how?
Learn the language. Don't push your culture down other people's throat. Respect the dominant culture.
What is the dominant culture?
Okay, man. Now you're being difficult, bro. Okay, who's up next?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like it's very simple, bro. Like what I'm trying to say here is that this isn't a Muslim country, man, and it's like, and this is why people get so frustrated or annoyed by Muslims, bro, is because of this very privileged / entitled, like I get to bring my culture here and you can't say nothing about it. Like, look, no one's saying you can't bring it in, but don't try to shove it down people's throats and propagate it in a way where, quite frankly, we're here as guests, bro.